Hello and welcome back to a beautiful Wednesday. I missed you last week, but I really had nothing done. Wasn't even worth coming on here and showing you how little I got done. However, we're back this week. It is April 8th, 2026. It's a glorious, beautiful Wednesday morning, a little chilly. I've got to say, I was expecting the weather to be a little bit warmer when I let the dog out this morning. It's not. It's still freezing, but it looks nice. The sun is out. That's all I'm asking for is some nice sun. So let's jump right into the limited number of things that I actually got done over the last week. The prior week, which I didn't film anything last week for this series of What Did I Make, I was working exclusively on scrunchies. We have two different types of scrunchies in the Etsy shop. We've got a mini scrunchie, which I'll show you in a minute, and then we've got like the standard kind of really chunkier scrunchie. I like to offer both types because some people don't like that super chunky scrunchie. And also, I really love making the mini scrunchie. I do have tutorials, so I will link those tutorials down below if you're interested in making some fun scrunchies for yourself or your markets or your shop or whatever. You're welcome to use any of my patterns and sell those finished items however you'd like. So let's look at some of these scrunchies. I did a whole bunch of scrunchies. I probably made more of the mini scrunchies because it's only one round, so it goes super fast. Then I did those chunkier scrunchies because they're a little bit harder on your hands. You've got to work 2 rounds and you're working multiple double crochets into one stitch on that second round, so it just takes a little bit longer. We've got scrunchies. So many scrunchies. These are all of the mini scrunchies. So yeah, I've got a ton of scrunchies. So I will show you, this is the mini scrunchie and it's still got a nice little wave to it, but it's just one round. So for me, I just work however many double crochets around that elastic hair tie, kind of stretch it out until it gets a nice shape, and then I'll just join with a slip stitch, weave in the ends as usual, and you've got a scrunchie. So these ones were really super fast to make. I made a whole bunch basically in just one day of all of these, and I was doing other things too. I find that I can't just work on one thing, especially when it's just repetitive like this, over and over and over. I just get bored and then I'm like, let me do something else. Or, I had to cook dinner or do the dishes or whatever it is. I was pulled away throughout the day for different things. But I managed to get maybe 17, I want to say there were 17 different colors I had, 16 or 17. So that was productive in its own right. Then we have the chunkier scrunchies, and you can see already they're a little bit chunkier. And I actually did make quite a bit of these style as well, not as many. I probably have 8 or 9 here, different colors. I don't remember exactly. There we go, all of those scrunchies. The chunkier ones still have the wave, obviously, but they're just a little bit more wavy, they're more chunky, and all of these are super soft. So again, they're not hard to make, but the chunky ones take a little bit longer, and I just didn't. By the time I got to the chunky ones, I just didn't want to make scrunchies anymore. So I think we're done with scrunchies for a little bit. If you are interested in buying an actual scrunchie, they are on our Etsy shop, and I will link that down below if you're interested in checking out the scrunchies. My daughter has a whole bunch of kind of funky, fun earrings, jewelry pieces. I put some of my crochet and knit items on there as well. So there's a wide array of different things on that shop. Last time I was on here, I believe I said that I started a market bag and then thought it was too big, so I wasn't going to finish it. I didn't finish it. I ripped it out, frogged it all the way back, and I started my own version of a bag. And here it is. It is just a granny stitch, and I used a smaller hook. I want to say I used maybe a 4.5 with this, just to kind of get tighter stitches. And basically, I just started at the very bottom with a rectangle granny stitch, worked that in the round, I think 2 rounds, using an increase, basically making those full corners on each 4 sides of the rectangle. And then starting on the 3rd round, I ignored the corners. So you basically skip kind of a cluster on each of these sides, and that will start shaping the bag upwards. So we've got this for the straps. I did a half double crochet, I think, and we start very wide and then we decrease a little bit. The straps at the top, now this is me just kind of making up a pattern as I was crocheting. I did write stuff down, so if I need to go back and rework something, or I want to write this up into a pattern, I can kind of figure that out. For me, the straps at the top were still a little bit too wide, but they were definitely long enough, so I didn't want to keep going and then have too long of straps. So what I did was I just joined the 2 sides. So like here is one side of the strap. I worked each strap separately. So this strap first fastened off after I got maybe like 12 inches long, somewhere around there. Did the other side. So now I've got 2 straps that are not connected. I joined them together, and then what I did is I worked a round of single crochet on either side just to kind of finish that inner strap off. And then I noticed that these straps were still pretty wide at the top, which is fine. Some people like a wider strap, but for me, I wanted to kind of narrow it down and give it something different, I guess. So I took the 2 ends and pressed them together like this, and then just sewed them up a few stitches like this. Now it's not sewed all the way through, so there's still like, I can put my finger through that piece. I just sewed the very ends together, and that just kind of creates a smaller strap at the top, but it's very cute. I really like how this turned out, and you can see how that smaller strap might fit on somebody better than a larger strap. Sometimes for me, if the strap is too big, it just falls right off my shoulder. So that's the only reason why I did that. But I think it came out really nice. I used some nice sturdy cotton for this. I got this cotton yarn in bulk, I think from Mary Maxim. So I had a ton of it, and it's kind of a nice gray green. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but it's a very neutral grayish green color, and it came out really cute. So I'm happy with this one. I think I will make another one, and at some point, it took me forever. This took me a couple of days to get done, even just to get to the straps. The straps alone took an entire night, afternoon/night. After that, I was kind of done with the bag. Next, I made a bucket hat. This hat is a pattern from Maxine. I will link that tutorial down below. It's the first tutorial that I've watched from her and the first pattern that I've made, and I'm super happy with it. It's so easy. It doesn't take very long, and I think it came out really nice. Here we are. So it's a cute half double crochet all the way around. So you just increase, you get to a certain point where you then start just working straight down for the sides, and then you work a nice little brim. Yeah, super cute. I don't typically wear hats like this, but this one is super cute. I love the colors, and it's soft and it's not too tight. So I could have maybe worked either using a smaller hook or not done as many increases on the very top of the hat, and that would have made it a little bit tighter. But this one fits perfectly fine, especially if you put your hair up, if you've got a ponytail or something in, it fits perfect. So we've got some nice lavender and pink in there. You hold 2 strands together and you just work in the round. Super easy, super fun. I did that, I think, Saturday afternoon in one day. It just took maybe an hour and a half or so. And that was, again, getting up and doing other things. This is what I started working with, is this Karen cotton. And I did use Karen cotton for this. It's the all day cotton. I had started another bucket hat from another pattern, and I got like 3/4 of the way done, and it was not fitting right. It didn't look right. So I said, no, we're gonna try something else. So that's when I did this one, and I'm really happy with it. This is the first time I've really used the Karen All Day Cotton so much in doing anything. I bought a bunch of these recently, but before that I bought a bunch a year or 2 ago, and I've never used them. I used them this weekend and I love them. So I'm super excited to find more projects to use with that Karen All Day Cotton. And finally, the last thing that I got done this week is, it's a project for me, and if you know, you know. Let me get it the right way. I don't know if you can tell what it says, but it is basically just a Fair Isle type tapestry, I guess you could say. You could call it a tapestry. That's what I'm going to kind of use it as. I'm going to put a dowel at the top and hang it up. But if you don't know, this is NUKA COLA, and it is from the show Fallout and from the video game. My son is a huge Fallout fan. I like Fallout as well, so I wanted to make something Fallout inspired for fun for myself. So we've got the NUKA COLA Tapestry. All I did was find a graph on Pinterest or online or something where it was already written out, and I just followed the graph, worked back and forth, found some red yarn, found some white yarn, and it's just double crochets. The hardest part is following that graph, especially because I just had it on the computer. I didn't print it out, and so I couldn't cross off the rows that I had already done. And so at points I had to rip it back a few because I was off. My colors were off on a row or two, but that's because I was reading the wrong row. That's clearly a me issue. But I really like how this came out, and I'm definitely going to be doing some more of these because they're kind of fun. And you can really use any sort of pixel graph that you want and make little tapestries to hang up. I think what I'm going to do is put another single crochet border. I've already done one in red. I'm going to do one more, and I'm probably going to do it in white to give it a nice contrasting border. I'm going to get a dowel. I might just find a stick outside, clean it off, maybe spruce it up a little bit, and put this on that stick. We'll see what I can find. But anyway, I'm really happy with this, and I cannot wait to do some more of these types of projects. And there you have it. All of the very limited but time-consuming projects that I've done over the last week or so. Thanks so much for watching as usual, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.